Hello, my name is Brian, and you're in my world. And really, I just podcast to express my multiple personality disorder. The children are to bed, the women are asleep, and the dog is barking. We're talking about NPR News tonight. Thank you for tuning in on your long ride home from work. It is 6 a.m. Eastern Time in New York City, and we're sitting here drinking our mimosas because we are rich, and we've been doing cocaine all night here on NPR News. Uh-oh, were we live? I wasn't supposed to be talking about that. What do they talk about NPR News? No, it's like the radical right-wing Trump Nazis have taken over the government, and they are trying to eat all the transgender furries. They're trying to hunt the furries. Joe Rogan was caught. Joe Rogan, and welcome to NPR News. Reports of Joe Rogan being exposed for hunting furries. That's right. Joe Rogan has been collecting furries. And by that, I mean he has been served his furries. They serve him his furries. Joe Rogan wants to order some furries, dude. He's probably got it. If Joe Rogan said, I want 10 of your finest furries around, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's actually a hot bitch under there. It's not. I don't think. I'm kidding. Is Joe Rogan. He's not like a pimpish dude. But you know, like the power in the pool. I always fantasize or daydream. Like, what if he stumbled across my shit? You know, because I'm now into this thing of posting clips. I'm effective at clipping my own show and trying to do 1 to 3 clips a day. So, dude, I could pop up on anybody's radar. Like, these celebrities, they're always on there talking about shit they saw on Twitter. And I'm a big believer in, like, tuning into a spiritual frequency and being given creative information from the grand beyond. And I think that people get tuned into the same frequency. And yeah, I think it is neat sometimes that I haven't listened to Joe Rogan in so long, and then I'd go back and listen, and like some of the things that have happened or circulated, like his opinion on that will be very similar to mine, or like joke premises, like a funny conversation premise. And I'm very unplugged. I really don't know much of like the circulation. I kind of do, but I really don't look at that many other people's opinion on things. There's some things I listen to that are opinionated just so that I can kind of you want to expose yourself to a little bit of the suck you in rat race, right versus left, you know, because if you don't dunk yourself in it a little bit, you're then susceptible to like hear something new in a conversation that throws you off. So for me, I listen to someone, the person I like listen to, the voice I can handle is Alex Jones. I don't agree with Alex Jones in a couple of different ways. I think that Donald Trump is very clearly like establishment. I think anyone that's been involved with anything in the government is establishment. Even when you look at someone like JFK, so the whole JFK thing, right? Everybody knows he was assassinated, and there's a bunch of sketchy stuff, and there's like the Abraham Lincoln and the shooter, and the whole, you know, it's all sketchy. It's set up to be very obvious what it truly is. And they make it so obvious and they press it on you so hard because it really is scripted and set up. Like, it doesn't matter if his name was JFK, John F. Kennedy, or fucking Burt Randy Weinstein. It doesn't matter. Like, the name doesn't matter. It's the concept and what happened. That somebody came in, they started running their mouth about this new world order. Literally, he would use the term New World Order in some of his speeches. He would talk about secret societies. He was doing a bunch of things to try to bring nations together. And he got assassinated. And it was like days after the one big speech of like, beware of secret societies. Like, the timing was perfect. Like, it was just all set up. Now, does JFK know? Is he like just, oh, hey, we're going to shoot you in the head. You play your part. Goyim, listen to us. No, it's not all like that. There's a couple of different ways you do it. But yeah, the data is, like, the information's very compartmentalized when you look at how this New World Order establishment is structured. Like, there's not a whole lot of people who actually know. They're just manipulated with mind control shit and greed. Like, the devil, temptation, greed, sex, drugs, money, like, that evil world and that pull can make people very controllable. But at a certain point, like, power and easy sex and certain things, it just does shit to people. You know what I'm saying? It just does certain things. And then, you know, there are these secret societies. They are doing these rituals. There is this demonic presence. And, like, what is that? It's hard to tell, right? Because, dude, if JFK don't know he's in on it, that they only let him get there and have that voice and say those things just to set it up and then take him out. That's the whole setup. They let you get there. There's a lot of people just like JFK throughout the history of the last, 70 years, modern times, whatever you want to say. But there's a lot of people in politics, in the history of U.S. politics, that have knocked on the door and made noise and made a career and a presence for themselves. The intention of being so moderate that they don't even associate with the right or the left, and they're trying to bring things together, and they're independent, kind of. They might have a side, but really they're not. And they look at things super logically and, in a utilitarian type of way. What's best for the whole is best for me. But at a certain point, dude, a guy on Joe Rogan said this shit years and years and years ago. He said that I was a politician. I was making some noise. He's kind of a well-known guy and wrote some books about all this shit, but he said at a certain point, someone literally comes to you and says, hey, we're not really going to allow you to just do what you want to do anymore and do what you're doing. You're running as a Democrat, but you have a bunch of right-wing views and you're trying to, like, bring people together a little bit too much. And we don't want that. Part of our grabble is the whole infighting of the system. That's the whole grabble. Right versus left. Red versus blue. Democrats versus Republicans. That's the whole gist of the damn thing. And other people along with this guy have come out and admit, yeah, straight up, Agent Smith. And at first they tell you bad things could happen. They say something. They tell him something. They tell him what the deal is, bro. And it's not like, oh, we're just going to off you like that. Which, I mean, you can look into some of the sketchy stuff with people getting taken care of and shit. A lot of sketchy stuff with the government involving that. But they don't really need to do that anymore because they control the flow of information. And they do allow. There's so many people and it's so chaotic. The best place to hide something is in plain sight. Oh, because so many people are talking about this, it must just be an opinion. And, oh, well, we already have this concept, like, if you're right or left, you think the other side is wrong. Well, you can then apply that concept to anything. Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist, you're labeled. Well, everything you say, I don't agree with. And technically speaking, if you break down the math, and this is when I really got away from the right wing a little bit. A lot. I started to, and then I really broke free from politics all in all. But what got me off the right wing is when Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton went against each other. I did like this tally shit, and you find that, like, dude, like, Hillary is so close to being right wing and Trump's so close to being left wing. Like, what are we doing? When you look at ontheissues.com, they have all the opinions on different issues that the politician has a history of voting on within the Senate. For Trump, they didn't have his voting history, and for some people, they just use statements like, oh, they're on record saying this. So that's their opinion on this issue, whether it be abortion, fucking childcare, education, geopolitical fucking issues, economic, whatever, terrorist threats. So I busted into that shit for the 2016 election for Trump versus Hillary. I dug into that shit hard, bro. I had paper, Italian, and I was like, dude, like, it ends up being, when I break it down, like, it ends up being like a tie. I can't, like, oh, I said, this is how I'm going to choose who I vote for. Because I was a young, dumb, drunk college kid, right? Now, that was very early in the election cycle. Trump became very fun very quick with, like, the internet and the meme stuff. If you were, like, any bit right-wing, you were getting pulled in because that shit was fucking fun because they crushed. Like, the memes and the Reddit stuff, the Reddit was amazing. It was the golden era of Reddit, and it was, like, the last little golden era. Reddit has a lot of trans porn, and you don't need to ask me why I know that. That's fine. You don't need to. Wouldn't you like to know, Weather Boy? So yeah, it was an interesting result, right? To go issue by issue and really break it all down. That kind of opened my mind up to, like, you start to see the matrix. When you start digging into all this shit, you start to see how it is a matrix and how it is set up to suck people into one side or the other. So again, what got me on that Trump train in 2016 was, like, the fun internet shit and trolling Hillary and the left. We were just winning. They're just winning. But later now I've learned that they don't need to rig the elections to rig the election. It's propaganda. And I'm not saying, like, the Russians did it necessarily. I'm not saying any one person did, like, the online Reddit stuff. But the debates, that's where, like, the actual shit you see on TV and the debates and stuff, like the Reddit social media with the younger crowd was one thing to get Trump elected, but the dissent and the dragging down of Hillary, like, dude, you can tell who they want to win. There'll be more commercials for one than the other. There'll literally be more commercials for one. Remember how many commercials in 2020 for Joe Biden involving the you-know-what thing? And they're like, together. They use that shit to switch it. Like, it was very easy. Which that was what that whole pandemic is what really popped my mind off about, like, I can't trust anybody. If that guy is the sitting in the commander, chief, and president, he's supposed to be this badass business guy, and he's going along with this, and he's Daddy Moderna rolling this shit out. He's pushing an experimental vax on people. He's trying to tell me that I need to get some sketchy shit shot in me. That shit was scary, bro. That was the scariest time of my life, because everything that people are talking about just now over the last like years, like last year, I started catching up with like some Joe Rogan stuff and what him and Aaron Rodgers. I listened to Eddie Bravo and Aaron Rodgers, and I'm like pissed because I'm like, when the fuck y'all release this? 2024? Dude, I was saying this in 2019, like before, as it was happening. As soon as they released that China stuff, I'm like, all right, they've had this set up a couple times with potential things like Ebola and swine flu, but they haven't perpetuated it. So we're kind of used to seeing something crazy maybe happening in China or another country. We're not used to having it like actually come here and cause some shit and be an issue. Never really been an issue. I had the swine flu. It was when I was a kid. It wasn't even that bad. I had the H1N1 when it was a thing. It was fine. But I said, like, they're going to just trick people. They're just going to fool everybody. They're just going to tell you some lies, bro. They're just going to basically weaponize the flu. Not fun. Doesn't make me happy one bit. That people thought I was crazy and out there and a crazy conspiracy theorist, and now it's just, oh, we probably shouldn't have trusted them. It all happened so fast. And I'm not even going to get into it. I don't want to get into that because it's frustrating. And that's why, when it comes to these specific issues, you just don't want to get dragged in, because we could sit here all day, dude. We're not going to change what they did. People's minds that haven't been awakened by now on that shit, they're never going to wake up on a whole lot of things anyway, ever. And, dude, part of civilization, brother, is that we are some sheep. Unless you are in that top 1% elite, we're sheep, dude. But what can set us free as sheep, dude, you're still going to have to go do your full-time job that you probably don't like that much. That's the reality of the situation. You got to kind of take care of business and still do life stuff. But your mind don't have to be thinking what they want you to think about nothing, bro. And I'm not even talking about just political opinions or conspiracy theories. Like concepts of love, of consumption, of material wealth. They got a good rat race set up for your mind to go down. And that doesn't mean you can't play their game. But their game can be set up to disappoint you. I always tell a girl a couple of things when we first start talking. One is that I know I might seem like Superman, but I'm really the Joker. And at one point, maybe I'll fall in love with you and really like you. But one thing is that I'm never going to need you. I'm never going to need to have you around just to have a woman in my life. It's not going to happen. I won't. As much, maybe I'll want you to death and love the hell out of you. But I'll never need you. And if you make me play that ace, if you test that, I will show you that card. If you think I'm playing around, I will disappear. And it's happened. Sometimes I don't even get a chance to tell them, and something just spooks me off. And I've talked a little bit maybe about spooks. And I don't mean that racist. I mean people that scare you. Dude, if something scares you, get away from it. You know what I'm saying? And that's a lot of the thinking with conspiracy theories. Like, I'm not going to worry about this shit or and listen to all the stuff on what's going on and be a part of the battle. You don't want to be a part of that battle. Because it's just going to drag you the wrong way. It's going to spook you. It's going to scare you on what's really going on in this world. But what's going on in this world is commonplace for human society and the organizational structure and hierarchies and social economic classes. It's just the way things are. Why? Because we live in a land of paradox, where there's good and there's evil. And the evil is always going to compel some people to do bad shit in all sorts of different ways. Whether that be a small, isolated domestic dispute where somebody slaps a hoe, or Jeffrey Epstein butt naked chasing a bunch of kids on an island, dude. Like, Bill Gates, his Humpty Dumpty ass, like, dude, it's not funny because it's almost not funny. It does get to a certain point where that shit's not really. It's funny at first because it's like seems too out there to be true, but then it's just like, oh no. Oh man, there's a lot of child sex trafficking happen in the world, and they're really hush about it, man. This isn't good. I mean, there's places in the world where you ask somebody, like, what is life like here? And maybe they won't bring it up the first thing they bring it up. But if they are mentioning bad things, they'll mention the trafficking and children getting taken. And there's like the global demand behind that. It's not just like your average pedo. You know, you get something in the mail like, there's a pedo in your neighborhood now. He did 5 years for doing the hanky wanky at the park. You know, he had the fucking trench coat and was just woo. And they gave him 5 years. Now he's in your neighborhood, bro. That's not where the demand is coming from. Those dudes aren't ordering kids off the dark web. But there's some emails that would suggest some people, some of these demons. And then they scapegoated, though. They scapegoated Pizzagate. And even like Eddie Bravo, when he talks about it, he just brought up Podesta. Podesta is just like a fucking classic. Just a classic one of these scapegoats. Same as Diddy, Epstein. Martha Stewart was kind of an OG. They threw her in jail for like making $100,000 off an insider trade. Oh yeah, we're making an example out of fucking Martha. No, they just want you to think that if somebody does something wrong, they'll get them. So they have these scapegoats. Who the fuck's Podesta? Some guy in the government? I don't even know, but he was heavily included in the WikiLeaks Pizzagate scandal. Along with Obama and Clinton, but we're just not going to talk about that anymore. Oh, and they scrubbed all the good stuff from WikiLeaks. Why can't I find the same stuff I found 10 years ago on WikiLeaks? Yeah, dude, I've been into this shit long time, dude. Free energy, the Tesla coil. I remember my dude's like in the government now. I think I'm trying to squeeze some secrets out of him, but I think he might try to turn us all to Nazis. Honestly, he's pretty crazy, but on the down low, he was like literally the dude like voted most likely to be to be president. and he's like working in the government. Had like a good military career. I want to squeeze some secrets. Like, come on, bro, tell me about the kids. I'm a far right fringe conspiracy guy, dude. I gotta expose the New World Order. They're trying to brainwash me with 5G, bro. Hit me up with some secrets, dude. Together, let me in. Dude, let me be your VP. Run for president. I hope that if he runs for president, he'd be smart enough to have me as VP. I'd be the sexiest president, you know what I'm saying? We need a young, sexy guy in there. We need to bring, like, Bill Clinton and JFK, you know what? Trump, man, he's an old squirter and a bit of a rapey vibe. I don't know. He seems like he'd be a little sexually pushy to get what he wants. I don't know. Because there's like people in power. Pussy comes with power. But like some of those situations are the same power like I might have in Northeast Ohio. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a drunk girl. Your pull is money. Mine is slick talk and good looks and a good spiritual vibe. I'll take my shit any day. It's probably the same range. You know, it's probably the same range, you guys. But yeah, I don't know. It could be, you know what I'm saying? These are establishment people. Do we want to speculate? When we've heard about what comes out of the Bohemian Grove, do we even want to speculate on these people? Alright, so what's new in my world? Bryan's world. I've been fucking with the butterscotch candies for sure. It's always nice when someone at work asks, like, do you have any gum? And you're like, nah, but I got butterscotch candy. Hell yeah. Bros and the hoes all gonna love your butterscotch candy. You feel me? So yeah, keep something on you, dog. You know, it's about, we be thinking sometimes, if you're a little bit of a King of Babylon type, you'd be thinking like back to the day, like, remember when I used to have some bud, or I knew where to get a little sniffy, little nose clams. You know, it was wouldn't it be nice to have me a little assets, some assets, just to, in case it comes up in conversation, because sometimes those things, if you remember, could seal the dealio, make you seem cool, like you got some shit. But you know, when you're past college and you're no longer really trying to deal with college girls, I might flex on them out there and really gonna hit the party in real good. Get to second base, dude. Hey, call me Kenny Lofting, because I get to second base easy. You feel me? Hey. Indians won today, bro, in the playoffs, baby. It was an awesome game, dude. I listened to it on the Bluetooth. I'm allowed to have a Bluetooth at work. The game was at 1 p.m. But I've been in these situations where I have work during the game and you pop in the earphone, listen to the radio. And Tom Hamilton, dude, I listen to so many games on radio. I don't have internet. I can't watch no TV. I don't watch no TV, bro. I listen to shit on the radio, or I gotta go out to the sports bar. Which is also, you know, any situation I put myself where there could be women, there's always a chance that someone could potentially talk to me. Which is 50% my energy and spiritual vibe. Nothing to do with what I look like. But yeah, you know, you gotta have your inches. You gotta have your butterscotch candy. You know, I'm a big kid now, and I'm not gonna need things like drugs or doing this or doing that. I know where this scene is. I know where that is. Like, I just gotta be myself and somebody's gonna fuck with me. And that's how you gotta roll. That's how you really gotta think about that shit. So, like, we always chase these higher end things, and drugs is just one example. Like, you're a car, right? Oh man, how am I gonna get girls? A car, nothing's working. Did you try personality development? Did you try 6 months? Nothing. No trying allowed. You're not allowed. You're not even allowed to hit on one. If you see one, can't do it. Sorry. Love my life. Sorry. It's a 6 month purposeful. You just don't even try once ever. Even if someone jumps you, you say no. You can avoid it very easily. It's not that hard. But yeah, you do these things and develop your own personality. You're not really worried about what kind of car you drive or any of these things. But yeah, as far as my life goes, I don't know. I've been a little donkey brain, ADHD sometimes. Being very productive, but I just don't have a routine of doing fun stuff. Like, I haven't had the resources at times, so I've just gone a little crazy. Sometimes just been at home listening to music, sorting out my thoughts, being toxic a little bit. So I just been getting a little too toxic. And sometimes when I'm toxic, I get some great bits out of it, some great jokes, maybe some fried Brian moments. But it hurts my focus, you know? It hurts my ability to be super intentional with everything I'm doing when I don't focus. But I have so many chores at home. Sometimes you get caught up with the chores and you're kind of listening to music and vibing in your energy. I'm like, I'm going to do this podcast. And then an hour goes by. I feel like you've just dicked around for an hour. And when you start gaining traction on something, because at a certain point, like, I haven't had much of time to reflect. And maybe these things swirl and drive me crazy, but I've just also been dealing with the pressure of the financial situation without having a solution. So I'm just kind of dealing with some aftershock type shit. We're like, we did it, things are better, but then that energy kind of dies down. It's like, hey, dude, like, you know what, the kind of work you want to do and put in time consumption, it's not going to feel good. It's not going to feel good. And sometimes I chase the dragon a little bit, want to be too upbeat and not save my energy, you know? I just get dancy and listen to music and get excited. The Indians won today. It was like a sick game, dude. We got some big home runs in the 8th inning to take a big old lead, and it was over. We fucked them up. And we stayed alive. If we would have lost, our season was over. So it's a lot on the line. I learned that. It's like when you start reading something and you don't like it, or it's directed negatively at you, you could just be like, oh, goodbye. But yeah, that you kind of have to learn the thought cloud concept. And letting certain thoughts just drift away. Like, think of each thought like a cloud. And you can look up at the cloud. But if it's fucking stupid, you don't have to look at the cloud. If you look at the cloud and you're just like, that cloud just doesn't remind me of something that I like, I'm not even going to freaking look at it. I'm going to stay 10 toes down. Stay 10 dick down, boy. Stay 10 dick down, my boy. And honestly, bro, that's the other thing. You don't know where shit go with anybody, with a normal ass person that's been a normal motherfucker their whole life. Dude, I had one after school detention my entire middle school, grade school, high school. One detention. I wasn't necessarily a goody two-shoes, but I only had one detention. And it was really some dumb shit. Like, I did not break rules. I did not put myself in a situation to get detentions. Now, My criminal as an adult, criminal charges. Dude, I'm not a nerd. I'm not gonna sit here and count my charge. I don't fucking know. What am I, a nerd, bro? Yeesh. I know how many. That's my lawyer or something. You want to know, huh? My lawyer drives a Tesla. And so does my psychiatrist. And they're both some of the best in town. And you know why? Because they're dudes. They're men. They're fucking men. And sometimes men get off fucking track. You get off track, dude. You get, even if you're a man and himothy, and just a dude. Yeah, network system. Yeah, another tip, bro. The network system. Because I really don't like suffer. I don't have like trauma. I have disorders that make me think that way even when things aren't that way. You feel me? I've been a little unlucky maybe with shit, but a lot of shit is just me being stupid. And I had things right there for the taking, but didn't have the bravery or confidence that I now possess at such high levels that my vibe and energy alone is enough to inspire bravery in others. I don't have to give advice. I don't have to say anything. I just have to exist in your visual field and give you what I have from my mouth. I became very socially adept over time, right? I'm a podcaster, dude. I learned so much about myself developing my own show. It's insane. Insanity. But in a good way, because yeah, at a certain point, like, I'm a fucking tool. I started growing, and then you keep growing by baby steps, and you look back a year later and you're like, bro, he's a bitch. He ain't shit. Now, since April 2024, I'm feeling pretty good about it. Anything after that, that's the dog came out. But there is also some defining moments, you know. It's just usually like my big baller moments did involve alcohol and drinking. So at that point, you know, I kind of had to go out, and that's what I did. I really committed to like that. Hey, dude, my vision for the future, I want it to be able to go out to the bar and make friends and be in that drunk, fun environment and listen to the music. I love music. I like girls. You know, I want to be out in that shit. But I really can't drink. It's not going to ever be good. It could be good for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, 20 years. It's going to get me. It'll get me. And I can't take that risk, even if it makes a lot of sense to give it another shot with how far I've come. It's going to make me toxic in some way because I already have great big balls, Iron Man. Dude, I drank well water as a kid. You understand me? I drank from the tap. And that shit was from the well. That's from nature, bro. It was wet. My parents built a house on a place where a good spot, you know what I'm saying? Mother Nature getting a little wet. And that's where you want to build a house if you want a good water system. Well, we had some pretty fresh well water that would come through, but that well water was high in iron, super high in iron. And honestly, I did not really think about that until today, having a conversation with a cool dude at work. And I sometimes I come up with these things, you know. I'm a riff comedian or riff podcaster, riff dude, so pretty much everything's on the fly, bro. I don't have time to really sit around and write that much. I write when I can and take my notes during the day when I'm out doing shit and make sure I write something important down when I think of it, but for the most part, yeah, if it's and sometimes it comes to you so late, like, why didn't I think of that? But I have compared myself to Tony Stark and Iron Man in the past, and even towards women, and they found it like hot as fuck. I just kind of have that vibe, you know. But it used to only come out when I would drink because I didn't have the pure confidence. Now it depends on the situation. Like I knew how to turn the dial up and turn my swag on, but I didn't have like the overarching. Like a little bit of it was running and escapism. Like, oh, I'm gonna be in this amped up vibe, confident vibe to kind of escape something. But it was also just my bipolar disorder that I was just would go back and forth. But eventually I figured out how to get rid of the down. You know, became okay with all the down. And yeah, part of that was pharmaceuticals, drugs, THC, weed, the kratom. I'm a bit of a self-medicator. I kind of know my shit. I know some websites to get some certain nootropics. But yeah, you know, if you have trouble sleeping, it's not like maybe a sleep medication is what you necessarily need, because I really got to a point where I was like, they wanted me to do like that Klondike, not Klonopin. I'd take some K pins any day, believe me. But it's the one that just makes you sleep. But I looked it up, and all it does is like lower your blood pressure. I don't like fucking with my veins that much. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to keep them bitches healthy. I don't eat much fatty foods or grease or nothing. I barely even cook with much oil or butter, nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to keep this shit clear as possible. I guess, are my issues really that bad? I don't know, you guys. My issues don't really involve that much anxiety. That's the problem. It can be a little bit more behavioral issues and thought patterns. And just general negativity, not necessarily. Like, it could be more like anger or remorse for the enemies, the victims. Darth Vader shit. I shouldn't have choked out my wife, man. Shouldn't have choked out my pregnant wife. I didn't do that. That was Anakin Skywalker. Yeah, there's this one time, my ex-wife, when I decided that I would marry her and be happy to marry her. Like, it was like this drilled it home that, all right, this is cool. I like you for good. Yeah, she got a little attacky when she drunk. It was like my birthday. She got hammered and we came home. And she got a little wild and just incoherent, like attacked. And I was like, oh man, let's get you to bed. That was amazing. Thank you. I don't know. I kind of I like the sassiness. I don't know. The women capable of violence. And dude, you know what I'm saying? People, if you drink a lot, anybody's gonna. It's the low level frequencies. The demons literally possess you. At a certain point with alcohol, like, if people's behavior, it doesn't bring out. It does the exact opposite, bring out the real you guys. Alcohol does not bring out the real you. It brings out a messed up version. Anybody that's like, oh, you said that while you were drunk, like, that's the real you. Like, if you want to think that, that's fine. But that demon ain't in me. That demon ain't me. And you want to think the demon is me, that's fine. But that could be a missed opportunity for someone else. I don't care if somebody don't like to go out. I'll go do what they do. Like, somebody likes, I'll chain smoke. I'll just go I'll just go fit in with my dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like that where I want to be friendly with the people that go out to the places. Like, I'll do that shit. I do that shit on my own. I don't need nobody to do that shit with me. I like bringing people along with me and kind of, especially people that like are suffering and need that light. I like bringing with me. But I don't. I used to do this thing where I'd imposed my ideology, and that I found out that wasn't it, man. That's not it, to impose your ideology on people. I present my ideology, and I share my self-reflection of myself, but I don't ever like pit that towards someone as like comparing myself to you or trying to seem better. In fact, I tend to be very candid about negative things or bad things. If you can acknowledge things, it just makes people trust you more, I guess. Like, you know, if you make jokes about yourself and make fun of yourself, like, that's how people will never make fun of you, because you have the confidence to acknowledge your shortcomings and your embarrassing moments. And that will make someone feel more comfortable sharing their own moments. And a lot of times people like need something to get off their chest. I definitely was that person. Always felt like I had something on my chest, so I just couldn't get it out or find the right people to communicate with. So I made a freaking podcast. That's why we're here. That's why we're still here. But yeah, a lot of times people can be a little too quick to like, oh, this is the right way. Like, my way is the right way. You gotta do things like this or look at it like my way. It's like, nah. Do you even have the people like that? Do you have like general across the board advice and also nuts and bolts? Like, you gotta know what to say. Everybody says you do this and do that. Dude, to do this and do that, it takes a certain skill set. But what about the nuts and bolts? Like, start writing more. Write out your thoughts. Start writing. You should be writing. It's very important. Like, it can feel like a second brain. Literally. It's like you have two brains. Boom. My Google Keep has so much information. It's actually what makes me pretty good at like dating, because I don't use much social media, and I'll end up writing more than I scroll on social media, and that includes like women. I'm going to write down the things that I like about you, so when that time comes, that I know what I like about you, and when it's time to spill my beans and let you know how I feel, and I want to tie you down. And I'm not asking for much, baby, just your heart forever. Love me and only me forever, for the rest of your life. That's all I'm freaking asking. Is it so much to have? It's me. It's me. It's not the same character, baby. It's not the same character that you or anyone in existence is ever been accustomed to, because I'm fresh off the block. Okay? I'm fresh off the press. I'm something new. I ain't no one in a million. I'm a one of one. And so is you. You's a one of one too. But you need somebody to show you what that means, to be a one of one, and how to rock that shit. And turn your ops into fans. Your ops, your enemies, they will become fans. They will root for you. They will like you. They will be your biggest star. They'll follow you wherever you go. Papa, right? See, I'm a big Lady Gaga fan. And I don't like the term aura. Aura is fake. Aura is like wannabe shit. Okay? Vibe, dude. And if you really have that kind of sauce and magic, bro, you will have very many examples where people will approach you and start saying some shit like, bro, what? Why are you kissing my ass like this? I know it do be like that, but I haven't even started talking yet and saying cool stuff. Like, can I say some cool stuff first before? but guess what? It's because you then like it's a spiritual thing, and that's how our world works like math, dude. If I'm an empathetic person, I care about other people and I'm nice to other people and I want to share my wisdom and glow with people in a non-imposing way that fits person to person, that's very adaptable. The fact that that exists and is a thing means that you shall attract things because you're good for those things. If you're good for things, you'll attract them. The things that aren't, that you're not going to be good for, you might scare them away. Dude, the last girl, I probably wasn't good for her. Had a bunch of sexual trauma and like, I'm on some hot boy shit. Things I do, things I say, the way I talk, the shit I wear, everything. Walk it like I talk, like it's just everything. Like it is going, you cannot be if you're a woman, unless you're 100% lesbian and just can't, you get icked out by men. If you have any bit of straightness in you, it's going to come out if you spend time with me. And I'm not trying to be cocky or arrogant. See, people think it's arrogant and I'm trying to be better. I work very hard on the details of these things. Very hard. And it has to do with my care and also my power as a father and a parent, raising a little girl, being a girl dad. So like, yeah, there's just a lot of deep rooted things and like my mindset and mentality too. It is interesting. I don't trust people that don't jerk off. I mean, for at least in my generation, this isn't for the older generations. Y'all didn't grow up with the internet like we did. Like my innocence was gone. It gets gone quick, dude. Dude, you've seen Scat by 16. Like, you feel me? You've seen two girls, one cup. Like, we just, everybody's like, dude, you gotta watch Two Girls, One Cup. Oh, it's nasty. Oh, what the fuck? It's nasty. Yeah, everyone talking about how nasty it is. Guess what? We all watched it. We all watched Scat when we were 15. We watched scat porn when we were 15. And that was like normal. That was just a talking point. Like, yeah, what a fucked up thing. Because you just don't understand how bad, like, we might be talking some poop sex. If you don't know what scat is, it's a fetish. It's a poop fetish. It's gross and disgusting. Welcome to freaking the world. And it's like, it's one of those things that if you were to make scat and get it on video, you could make money. It's like that. It's messed up, dude. It's to any older generation people that happen to stumble on this and don't know about the degeneracy of things. I'm sorry that I've ruined any innocence now that you had left, but there can be a true beauty to finally smashing your innocence and saying goodbye to your innocence. There can be a beauty in that, and you can learn to separate it. Okay? But yeah, watch out for that, you guys. Because when they say that, they mean that. Like, there's something somewhere, or they're like actively tooting, doing the prosty. They're an active prostitute. I'm not saying that about anybody I was seeing, that they was doing that actively. But if someone talks about it and brings it up a little too early, I've now realized I was a little too early to talk about selling piss videos. Don't hit me wrong, you're talking to the right guy. People these days, that's where we've gone with the internet stuff. I don't know what to say about that, okay? It's messed up, but guess what? I'm not gonna say it's normal, but the fact, it's a little bit. Like, bitch, you ain't the only bitch in town that's a little piss video. In fact, dude, I'll shit in this cam for money. You understand? Times are freaking tough, bro. And let's not be naive. If somebody said I'm going to give you $300 and you just have to send me a video of you shitting in this glass cup, are you fucking not going to take the gnarliest dookie you could ever produce and get it in this cup and get that shit in 4K? You gonna get that dookie cup in 4K, my boy. You're gonna get $300. Dude, especially if you already have money. Oh, shit. There's $300 just blow on something, dude. You think you're better than that because your life is better than that. And I used to think like that too, but you're really not. Like, if it came to a survival situation and things weren't the way they are, you would very quickly shit in that cup for $300, bro. If you really needed $300, would you not shit in the cup? You're gonna poop anyways. The only difference is you're doing it instead of in the toilet, you're doing the cup, and you gotta get it on video. And you gotta make these decisions, you know? If you're a man of God, maybe... but are we not? Isn't the whole thing with God that he made us? Okay? But then there's the whole thing. See, he gets a little pass. Well, Satan. Didn't he make Satan or whatever? He didn't have to do that. You fucking dick. Look what you've done, God. You made Satan, and now people are shitting in cup. Now we're doing Dookie Cup for money, for tokens. Come on. You want to see me poop in the cup? Man or woman, there is money. Because men are crazy. And there's men that like freaking men, dude. There's men that like sleep with men, they're freaky, but then there's dudes that like dudes, bro. Like, they like hairy, sweaty dude shit. Like, two just rugged, muddy dudes. But they love each other. Do you think I have a type? Do I look like I have a type? If she got game, she got game. I'm gonna eat her fucking pussy. Like, it doesn't matter. And I prefer, yeah, definitely more pushing for the cushion. A bigger, strong woman that could play fullback. Dude. Lizzo makes good music. I don't like the things she's saying in politics, but bro, everybody gets a fucking... She says shit, who knows? Bro, I say shit on here that I might not mean to potentially have a repertoire and make entertainment. It's entertainment. It's e-news, buddy. And I keep my mind I'm very picky about what goes into my brain, dude. So anyways, when you go on people's stories and go look at people's story on Snap, it's a fucking... They trick you because they'll put some cringe shit in the Discover and you'll catch it out of the corner of your eye and you'll look at it and it's too late. You've already read it and you've already seen something about the Hawk Tuah girl. It's too late. You know she exists. It's too late. And for a while, I didn't know what the fuck that was. And then somebody told me, she was in an interview and she says, any tips for keeping a good man? The interviewer said, any tips for keeping a good man? And this little country girl goes, yeah, you give it a little Hawk Tuah. And I was like, dude, I gotta go get my girl. That's my girl. There you go, dude. A hot fucking mess goofball.